Welcome back to the Boot Tragedies. We're going to talk about the Saints injury report and kind of how the Saints are kind of getting healthy. I know it's not usually good news on the Saints front when it comes to these injuries, but things are kind of looking up for the Saints injury-wise. Michael Thomas obviously is the big one that's still going to be out for the season with that dislocated toe. So, unfortunately, we probably won't see Michael Thomas back this year. But other than that, it's looking good. First, I'll talk about the guys that did not practice that are probably going to be out against the 49ers this upcoming Sunday. We have J.T. Gray dealing with a hamstring injury. Now, those hamstrings are tricky because you can be feeling good. You can be feeling like you're 80, 85%, but that's a one injury that you can't play on it unless it's 100%, man. It's not like a broken thumb or something like that where if it's broken, you can still play. That hamstring, if you don't have that, you can't play. So he's probably not going to play this upcoming Sunday against the 49ers, but you never know. Things can change. Then you got Peyton Turner. He actually got good news, a low ankle sprain. Remember, he was trying to get up after the play he made on fourth down. Guys kind of fell on his ankle, so he ended up injuring his ankle that game. He's probably not going to play, did not practice the first couple days of practice. Today's Friday. We'll see what happens today. But Peyton Turner's likely going to be out. Then you have Pete Warner, who's also likely going to be out with an ankle injury. This would be another week for him being out. He hasn't limited practice since he injured his ankle. So not looking like Pete Warner will play again, maybe for a couple weeks. They say ankle for him. I'm not sure if it's a high ankle sprain, low ankle sprain. They've been pretty mute on that. And when they've been pretty mute on injuries, it's because they're more severe than they're leading on. You can look at the Michael Thomas injury. You can look at the Marshawn Lattimore injury, the Jarvis Landry injury. They were kind of quiet on those injuries. And obviously all those guys were out for a long time, even Jameis Winston. So, and then you look at Peyton Turner, they came out right and said, low ankle sprain. So he'll be back in a couple weeks. But when they're kind of mute on these injuries, I'm just going to, guess that they're 3 to 4 weeks at minimum. Now, for the most exciting part, the limited participants at practice this week, man, we got a shock. Or at least I got a shock. I don't know if y'all got a shock. We'll start off with Marcus Davenport with that calf injury. He popped up on the injury report, I guess in a good way, because going from did not practice and obviously did not play to limited with that calf injury, that's a good sign for Marcus Davenport, especially with Peyton Turner going down, especially with Cam Jordan being injured. We're going to have to get a guy like Marcus Davenport back. And if he's limited both days, hopefully he can get a full practice in today on Friday, and then we'll go from there. But, man, if Marcus Davenport can come back against the 49ers, who's going to run the ball, They got Christian McCaffrey. You're going to have to get after the quarterback when they do throw the ball because they still have weapons in Jennings, Ayuk, Debo, obviously, and Christian McCaffrey coming out the backfield. So going to have to get after the pass. So if Marcus Davenport can be back, that'll definitely help out the defense. And speaking of Cam Jordan, limited participant in practice with that eye injury. I'm not quite sure what it is with that eye, but, hey, man, I like Cam Jordan with one eye. If he got one eye, he's still going to be a beast out there. So he's limited participant. He had to miss his first game in his NFL career due to injury last week with the eye injury. I remember he missed one game. I believe it was against the Dolphins last season because of COVID or because of something. So this is his first game he missed due to injury. Remember last year, he was having a terrible year. He missed that game. His body came back rejuvenated and things like that. So hopefully he comes back the same way. And speaking of these injuries, man, with these guys being injured, we've went to London. We've played hard games. A lot of guys got injured. We haven't had a bye week yet. So, I mean, you can kind of use these injuries on the bright side. Glass half full, man. As a mini bye week for some of these guys, missing 1 or 2 weeks, getting their body back to 100% because it's about to be a grind, to end this season. So hopefully these guys are getting healthy. Their bodies are recuperating. Some of these minor injuries can also heal up. So Cam Jordan, Davenport, both are limited. If we can have both of those guys back on the defensive line, that'll be a huge boost to the defense. And also, man, the one I've been waiting on, the one I thought I'd never see back on the injury report and any type of good news, Marshawn Lattimore, who's had their 2 broken ribs, lacerated kidney grade 2, which I have no idea what that means. Sounds scary to me. He was back at practice on a limited basis. Don't know if he will play, but it will be great to see him play because Debo Samuel, he's not an easy matchup for anybody in the league. And to have Marshawn Lattimore back for that would be great. And we haven't gotten to see Lattimore, Alontae Taylor, or Debo at all. So if we get those guys together, that'll be a great sight. And since we were on the cornerback room, Bradley Roby, he didn't appear on the injury report, but he was designated to return from IR. So that's 21-day window, just like Trevor Penning. His 21-day window. Trevor Penning should be on a week and about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks in his 21-day window. So we can expect to see Trevor Penning back probably. You can expect to see Bradley Roby back probably. So That's a good thing. That's definitely a good thing. Roby's probably still a couple weeks away, but he was designated to return. So you might have a full cornerback room for the Saints for the first time this season if you can get a Debo, Alante, Lattimore, and Roby out there. That'll be definitely a sight to see, man. We haven't seen that yet. I'm definitely trying to see, how the Saints are going to use those guys. Alante in the slot, a Debo in the slot, Lattimore more in the slot. Because a Debo and Alante as of late, they have been playing pretty okay on the outside. You can, bring in Lattimore in the slot because we've been struggling to cover slot receivers this year. Debo lines up in the slot a lot. Hey, we'll get to that when we get to that if these guys are available to play. But Lattimore, man, is limited. That's definitely going to be a help. Then we got Andres Pete. Andres Pete, man, he's back on the injury report in a good manner. Once again, that tricep injury, he practiced on a limited basis. Did not play last week. We know the whole left side of the line were all backups last week. We didn't have James Hurst. We had Landon Young out there, Jock Morton out there. So if we get Pete back on the left side of the line, that'll be good, man. That'll be good. Pete's an integral part of that offensive line, and getting him back would definitely be a boost to the offensive line, and we're going to need him against a good front seven that the 49ers have. Last two guys on the list, two offensive guys. Mark Ingram back on the injury report in a good manner. With that knee injury that he had, he was a limited participant in practice as well. So it looked like Mark Ingram's going to come back. I don't think this is going to change the offense too much. At least I hope, in my opinion. We still have a steady diet of Taysom Hill, Alvin Kamara. They're basically, Alvin Kamara's running back 1 and basically Taysom Hill's running back 2 at this point. That's how I'm looking at it. I know he's lined up at the quarterback position, but that's just it. If Alvin Kamara getting 15 carries, Taysom Hill needs 10. Maybe Mark Ingram could come in and get you 2 or 3, but that's it. We don't need Mark Ingram coming in, taking snaps away from Kamara, taking snaps away from Taysom Hill. The offense is kind of in a rhythm. Let's just keep it that way. If he comes back in, he's just a backup running back, third string guy, and that's just how it has to be, in my opinion, if the Saints want to continue this offensive success. And last but not least, you got Jarvis Landry with that ankle injury. Obviously, he played last week, scored a touchdown, so hopefully that ankle's getting better and better. He's limited. I think they just don't want to put too much pressure on the ankle, don't want to be doing too much, so he was just a limited participant and practice with the ankle injury. Man, but the names on this list, I mean, look at our injury report. Our injury report is full of all-pro guys, Pro Bowl guys, Hall of Fame caliber type guys. You got Marcus Davenport, Cam Jordan, Marshawn Lattimore, Andres Pete, Ron Ramchick, who I think I skipped, but he was just a rest day, so I just, kind of skipped that. Mark Ingram, and then Jarvis Landry. Also, I did forget Alvin Kamara. He did pop up on the injury report with an illness, but I mean, that's nothing to really report on. He was just sick. Maybe had a little cold or something. Maybe the flu. Who knows what he had. But Alvin Kamara will play Sunday. I can almost bet everything I have on that one. One small thing the Saints need to keep a eye on is they can only bring 8 players back from IR this year. I believe we used 4 already. So we're probably going to use all 8. So hopefully no one else goes on IR that needs to come back. But, I mean, if you go on IR, you have to miss 4 games anyway, and it's coming towards the end of the season. So, basically, if you go on IR at this point in the season, your season's probably done. But that's something to look at with the Saints. I'm sure we're going to use a couple more. We might use all 8 spots, like I said. We'll see how that turns out. But we're in no threat of, having to play someone on IR and them never, being able to return this year. Things I'm looking forward to, man, on injury report-wise. Maybe Trevor Penning gets his first action this week. We'll see. We'll see if he plays this week. I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on with him, but hopefully, we get to see him out there, at least in some type of, way, shape, or fashion. Maybe 10 snaps, 15 snaps, extra offensive lineman, goal line. Hopefully, don't know on that front. Davenport, Cam Jordan, if one of them plays, that's a win. If Lattimore plays, that's a huge win. We don't know, or at least I don't know, what's going to happen. It's Friday. We're definitely going to get a better understanding on who's going to play, who's not with the injury report today. So when that comes out, man, I'll definitely be looking at that. But if we can get some full practice from some of these guys or full participants, that'll be great. Looking forward to this game against the 49ers. I'll have more on that once we, get closer to that game. But must-win game. We're getting healthy. Don't look now. Maybe we can make a little run. Maybe we can make some noise. I'm not getting my hopes up, but you just never know. Getting healthy, that'll sure help. We haven't been healthy all season, but, I mean, we can say that every year. That's just the Saints' luck right now. But we'll see what this team does. I hope we are healthy because I don't want no excuses. I want all hands on deck. So when this ship, sinks or swims, we'll talk about it. But as always, man, thank y'all for tuning in once again. It's DaBoot Tragedies, and I'm out.